Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about one of the things I built a few years ago, and that is a portable picnic table. So what happens is my town every year has this big event where they have a bunch of live music and games and stuff for the kids and crafts, and they have this entire parking lot filled up with smokers to smoke meats and stuff like that. So what you do is you get a plate and you walk around to each individual smoker and you get to taste all their meat and stuff like that. So what I decided was I was getting tired of eating, standing there holding the plate eating and then walking to the next one and doing all that stuff. So I was like, you know, it'd be cool if we had a picnic table that would move from spot to spot. We'd have a place to eat at all times, and that's where this was born. So a little thing about it, I had the motor already. My daughter used to race circle track lawnmowers. So this is a Kohler Command V-twin, 25 horsepower, except it's got a cam and some springs and a billet flywheel so we can spin at 9,000 RPMs. So it's a healthy little motor. So we also were looking for a home for that, so this is where it ended up. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch around and we'll talk a little bit about some of the features that I have on this thing. It's been a lot of fun. We go to Sonic all the time, pull up in a stall and eat lunch. So it's a hit around town. Everybody seems to like it, and we really, really like it. So let's see what it looks like. All right, so here's the table. The initial table that I built, obviously I'm gone a lot, so when I get home, I try to make projects and stuff because I do 60-day rotations, 60 days on, 60 days off. So when I'm off, I'm always looking for projects. This one, like I said, was born about from an event. So I actually built this in 2 days here at the house. It was raw steel, raw wood, obviously before powder coat and paint, but it was enough that I could actually take it and try it out. And a bunch of guys ran over and like, hey, let's put this thing in the car show. And I'm like, that's okay. It's not really a car. They're like, yeah, it's fine anyway. So it won the best of show there the first year. But since then, we painted up the boards. We had it powder coated. We actually have a local powder coating company that helped us out with the powder coat. And we named it Unstable, like unstable, because tell you what, there is no suspension. I didn't have time to build that in when I was initially building it. So it gets real sketchy about 40, 50 miles an hour. And it will do more depending on what pulley you put on there. So to start off with, the front end is just a solid axle. Uses a kingpin style front end that I built. It has a camber built into it. The hub is actually, and the disc and the brake setup in the front is actually off an ATV. It has a rack and pinion, manual rack and pinion that I got on eBay. It's held up really well. This is also on my daughter's race mower to help her with steering, because lawnmower steering, if you're not familiar with it, is really pretty sketchy and you get up to speed. It does have a front receiver hitch. I have a mount that goes in there that holds a Yeti cooler. We do have a light bar in the front, and we do have tail lights out back. The entire chassis is built by 1 by 2 inch steel tubing. You can see here there's an umbrella holder. There is an umbrella, cup holders, all that stuff. It does have a radio. I do keep track of the RPMs on a tachometer, lights and all that kind of stuff. You can see the pedal assembly down here. It's a standard cable pedal. The brakes are controlled by a single master cylinder on that foot brake right there. So hydraulic. There's speakers under here for the radio system. I'd actually need to get more speakers because, as you can see, this has a 2-into-1 header and you can't even hear the speakers over it. So you have to have the thing shut down. The steering wheel was sourced from the mower as well. As you can see, it was a John Deere. This is my forward reverse lever. As you can see, it ties into the transaxle down there. That's just a forward neutral reverse transaxle with gear reduction. There is no multiple speeds. The speed is controlled entirely by the pulley setup. This is a Centrifugal Clutch. It's rated to like 200 horsepower. It's ridiculous. That's an industrial one. It's used on industrial equipment, but I found that, I made it work, and it works out really well. So the transaxle is a solid rear axle. It does have an open diff, which I need to open up and weld it solid so we can do cool burnouts and donuts and things like that. It will do burnouts, but you have to really control the braking individually on the rear axle, so it's kind of a pain. Again, this is a Kohler. See, 2-into-1 header, super loud, sounds like a Harley. You see a rear receiver hitch. The plan was to actually build our own smoker and pull behind it. We run an electric fan because the original flywheel was cast iron and the fins are built into it. However, this one spins so fast that cast iron flywheel would fly apart, so we went to an billet aluminum flywheel that does not have any fins for cooling, so we use an electric motor. There's the fuel system, fuel tank. There is an electric fuel pump there that pumps fuel. The rear has adapters for that axle. You can see them there, aluminum adapters that adapt to a 4x110mm ATV hub, so I can run ATV wheels and tires. Have a lot of ATV stuff around, so it makes it real easy. And that's pretty much it. That's the cover on Unstable. It's a fun little rig to have. We're going to take it around the block here in a bit, and you can kind of hear it. And when it gets up to upper RPMs, it sounds really freaking mean. It's cool. All right, here we go. We're going to go around the block.